I think the Commanders are going to go whoever the Bears don't, because I think the Bears are going to stay. Whoever the Bears don't go between Caleb Williams and Jane Daniels, the Commanders are going to go. In that case, you have Caleb Williams going number 1 to the Bears. I have Jane Daniels going number 2 to the Commanders. He fits Cliff Kingsbury's style of play or style of coaching. He's an athletic quarterback. He's got a big arm. He's a little thin frame. Maybe could be conservative at times, but hey, you can coach the conservativeness out of him. The thin frame, you can maybe get some bulk on him. That would be good. But he's a great passer. He was one of the better passers in the league last year. Definitely better than Drake May and Caleb Williams were last year. And he's a dynamic runner, and that's what you want in this style of play nowadays. You needed someone that can maybe be a little mobile, but can also be a great passer. So I think Daniels would fit well with this rebuild of the Commanders. So I have Daniels going number 2 to the Commanders if Caleb Williams is picked number 1.
All About the Balls podcast
With Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. We are back for another great week of All About the Balls podcast, and we're starting off this week with a banger. I'm Mark Davis. I'm in the Sack House, and I'm joined alongside Chris Meinhardt, Nick the Doc Skirkowitz, and Alan Tomasella. And yes, like I said, it's going to be a banger episode because this is going to be our official post-combine mock draft, our first one in the 2024 NFL offseason. We're going to do a round fucking screen table. We're all going to be general managers for a certain team. But before we do that, let's introduce everyone. Chris, how are you doing? How was the weekend, my friend?
Weekend was good, Mark. Watched some LSU baseball all weekend. Slap Texas, horns down.
Yeah, I saw the horns were down that week.
LSU baseball looking like they're coming to repeat. I know y'all don't watch college baseball, but
I watch it when there's like final 8 teams. Final 8 teams, I watch it.
Great sport.
Doc, how are you doing this? How are you doing coming into this nice Monday night?
Good, man. Just a couple weeks left of this baby leave, and then it's going to be back to work. So, just enjoying the last bit of this time that I got.
Heck yeah. And Alan, I know you were out there doing some training last week. How does it feel to be back? How's it feel back in the Sack House?
Yeah, man, loved it. Went down there to Texas, did some secret squirrel shit, man. Loved that shit. It was a lot of fun. And then I got to watch Tennessee Volunteers basketball win, against Alabama. They were number 16, we're number 4, so that was a big game. In Alabama, we won that, so it was a good day. And it's official, boys. All right, I'm a Miami Marlins fan. All right,
fins up. I can't even Google it, Doc. This guy's saying fins up. Talking about how they never lost the playoff series. I texted Jake on the side. I was like, "Does this guy know how to Google?"
Hey, wait until I get some Fins gear. All right, I'm getting some Marlins gear. All right, we're going crazy in the house.
I have an old school Marlins Miguel Cabrera jersey.
Don't get rid of that. Don't get rid of that. That's a
no. I think I'm gonna wear that on the show on the baseball episode. Maybe I got a whole slew of baseball jerseys I'll cycle through.
I know.
We might have to. We might have to make a wager for it. Make a nice little bet for it or something. I'll trade you my Tom Brady jersey.
I'm gonna be honest. I can still buy a Tom Brady jersey. This is authentic Miguel Cabrera from God. I don't even know. At least 15 years ago. Almost 20 actually.
Yeah, because 20 years ago was when they won the series. Wasn't against the Yankees, so when he was youngin'. But
I don't think I'll part with that.
So we have won the series. Okay.
You won two series, 97, 2003. Both as a wild card.
I'll take it.
Doesn't even know his own fucking team, dude.
I know. We're teaching him Doc. We're going to teach him his team's history.
He doesn't even understand how they won a series because of a fan down the left field line in Chicago.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I love it.
But yeah, boys, we have baseball talk coming up. I know in a couple weeks, but I'm doing great, boys. We're going to talk about it last Thursday, but like Chris said before the show, we had some technical difficulties, so we didn't get to mention it. It's good to see some of our fans, some of our friends that give us stuff for our 1-year anniversary. That's coming up literally in about a month from now. We got a little trophy that said "Happy 1-year anniversary." So yeah, we're almost 1 year strong. I want to thank the boys there for supporting us. Also want to congratulate CJ and Pat. They're moving on. Boys of mine that listen to the show. They're starting their new journey, getting a new house. So congrats to them. And it's just good to see our friends doing great things, supporting us and us supporting them. So just want to give a shout before we start this show. And boys, this time we're going to do a little mock draft. It's post-combine. We had some electricity over the weekend. Xavier Worthy, fastest man to ever run the combine. That's my boy out of Texas, out of Austin, Texas, the Hook'em Horns. So will he be a first-rounder? We're going to see this mock draft. It's going to be pretty simple. There's 32 teams. 32 selections. Not every team has a first-round pick. 32 selections. 4 of us, we each get 8 picks. Al will be 1. I'll be 2. Doc will be 3. Chris will be 4. And every 4, we'll fucking pick again. And if we have any disparity, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna hear why you said this, and if we have any disagreements, we'll have a little small conversation on it. We're gonna try and knock this out tonight and have a good episode. So, Alan, the floor is yours. And by the way, no trades. So anyone that's listening, no trades out there. It's gonna be straight up 1 through 32. I know it's not ideal, but for this episode, no trades. Alan, start us off with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of smoke screen going out there. I think a lot of people were impressed with Caleb Williams, his demeanor while he was there this weekend. A lot of people want to bag on him for not doing anything. But I think from what I heard, different podcasts that I listened to, different sources, they were actually impressed with his presence. And so I think Bears are going Caleb Williams. And me personally, got to go Caleb Williams here in this spot. I think you've got to go with the talent and hope that you finally have picked that franchise quarterback.
Nope. There's no talent there.
I mean, that's going to be the talk. That's going to be the topic is Fields, or is it going to be Daniels, Caleb, or potentially Daniels. He's jumping up in the rankings. But, yeah, it's definitely right now. It's been all offseason. Caleb or Justin Fields for the Bears. So, but in this purpose, there's no trade. So that means most likely if the Bears picking one, they're going to go fucking quarterback. It's just the way it goes. I mean, I like Caleb. I don't like him. I think he's got the ability. He's got all the talent in the world. I just don't know how it's going to translate in the NFL with his attitude. Seems like
he's got talent against nobodies. Any defense he's played that's worth a half a damn, he has just struggled.
Hey, listen, I don't know how you're going to feel about him in 5 years, because what happens when he turns out to be great and then you're going to be in 5 years and be like, yeah, I can't believe it. We finally got a great
Then I'll
guy.
come back on the show and I'll tell everybody I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that Williams has to do is kick his dad off the managing staff. I think the biggest issues we're seeing, of him demanding stuff is his dad.
Oh, my God. Demanding % ownership after Aaron Rodgers tried it and the NFL already said that's not allowed. And then he came out and was like, yeah, I want that. I know it's not allowed. I want that if you pick me. You knew that wasn't allowed.
I heard a comment this weekend, and it's really what makes these guys. If you're a quarterback in the NFL, you either have to believe in God and be upfront with your faith, or you got to believe that you are a God. And you just got to be fucking crazy like Aaron Rodgers is hey, I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world at this thing that I'm doing, and nobody's going to stop me. And I think that Caleb Williams got a little bit of that. Because Jaden Daniels, you see.
Yeah, Rodgers can back it up against good defenses.
Hey.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, 5 years from now, what's he going to be? We don't know where he's going to be at. He could maybe go number 2. And speaking of number 2, the Washington Commanders. And Alan, like I said, you picked Caleb Williams, right? I think the Commanders are going to go whoever the Bears don't, because I think the Bears are going to stay. Whoever the Bears don't go between Caleb Williams and Jane Daniels, the Commanders are going to go. In that case, you have Caleb Williams going number 1 to the Bears. I have Jane Daniels going number 2 to the Commanders. He fits Cliff Kingsbury's style of play or style of coaching. He's an athletic quarterback. He's got a big arm. He's a little thin framed and maybe could be conservative at times, but hey, you can coach the conservativeness out of him. The thin frame, you can maybe get some bulk on him. That would be good. But he's a great passer. He was one of the better passers in the league last year, definitely better than Drake May and Caleb Williams were last year. And he's a dynamic runner, and that's what you want in this style of play nowadays. You needed someone that can maybe be a little mobile, but can also be a great passer. So I think Daniels would fit well with this rebuild of the Commanders. So I have Daniels going number 2 to the Commanders if Caleb Williams is pick number 1.
For Jaden Daniels' sake, I hope it doesn't happen because he's going to get eaten alive. He's going to get ghosts, and he's going to become trash in the NFL if this happens. Let him go to the Patriots. That's all I'm saying. I'm a homer here. Let him go to the Patriots, but because the Patriots are going to do it right. The Patriots are going to do it right. We're going to bring in a quarterback, a veteran quarterback. We're going to sit a guy. We're going to allow him to develop. I think Patriots are on to something right now.
Yeah, y'all did it right with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi.
It's hard to judge the command. It's hard to judge the Commanders though because we're judging them based on their history with Dan Snyder. It's new ownership. It's new gentleman. It's new leadership. So I can't sit there. And it's like same thing with New England. This is not the same Bill Belichick.
You can't say that this is Bill Belichick. You can't say, "Oh, look at what Mac
Jones.
That's
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Look what they do with Mac Jones." No, you can't say that because guess what? This is a whole new fucking regime.
I mean, look at what the Commanders did with Sam Howell. I mean, he was top 5 passing until like the last 4 weeks, and then he
because he got hit a million times. He led the league in sacks. He broke the NFL record for sacks.
He's also not athletic enough to escape the scramble.
He's going to get hit, though. That's the problem. He's still going to get hit.
It's a different level of the NFL. Yeah, he's going to get sacked.
Commanders are going to start this quarterback, and that's my point, is that they're going to start whoever they end up drafting, and that's going to be a problem.
I don't think Drake May's the answer, though, if you're going to do that. I think if you're going to go someone, you need someone athletic, and that's what Cliff Kingsbury likes, and it's not Drake May. It's not J.J. McCarthy. It's going to be Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels.
If I'm just telling you, if I'm the Commanders, I'm going after offensive line. Offensive line or somebody else. I think
they sign offensive line in the free. That's why I'm banking on.
They're not taking offensive line number 2. They're trading down. They're not wasting a number 2 pick for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, they would trade down.
You can drop down to number 6 with the Giants.
You could.
They're not going to trade.
Giants do want a quarterback.
They're not
so
trade
it could be.
Probably.
It could be Giants. Like you said, probably not going to be in
That's
division. True. But I mean,
no, but that's who I have though. I mean, it's just simple. I got to go quarterback. It's rebuild.
I got you.
Love that pick.
All right. Well, number 3, I am going to stay on the theme of new regime. Going with the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick is gone, getting off of that kind of typical quarterback that they've had in that pocket passer. I think that they're going to go with a more mobile, agile quarterback. Great arm strength. I like what the guy's doing. I think he had kind of a down year last year, but Drake May is my choice for the Patriots at number 3.
There you go, Alan. You have Drake May, the new Tom Brady.
I think Drake May is dropping fast. I don't.
If it wasn't him, it was McCarthy.
I really think if Drake. I think if Daniels is not there, because New England's not going to pass on Daniels. I think if May's there at 3, I think New England goes Harrison, and I think a team like Minnesota would maybe trade up for a Drake May or someone like that. With maybe Arizona or
no. If you want to talk a team rebuilding to get some pieces, this is where I see, especially because you need a quarterback and you can trade down and still be happy with J.J. McCarthy. You can go for Penix in the second round. I don't know if they go for a wide receiver like Marvin Harrison. I think that they're prime candidates either trade up to get Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, or they're a prime candidate to move back, get some capital for next year.
Like in
some
all
long-term
honesty,
draft
everything that I'm hearing, everything that I'm seeing, if Daniels isn't on the board, they're trading back. They're trading out of that pick if Daniels isn't on the board.
I mean, they don't have the bona fide guy that you want. Secure as much draft capital as possible for the future so you can really start a rebuild. That's what the Bears are doing. That's what they did last year and secured a wide receiver, and it's working. It's freaking working.
That's everything that I'm seeing. Giants want a quarterback. The Vikings want a quarterback. You've got the Broncos that want to get up there too. I mean, there's so many teams out there that want a quarterback. If Jaden Daniels is not on the board for the Patriots, everything I'm hearing is they're moving out of that pick.
Well, Drake made New England, Chris.
Hey, I don't know what the hype is about May. I never saw it. I don't know.
I just think it's a quarterback hungry team that needs a quarterback at number 3 if they stay.
I get that, but I mean, May's high on everybody's draft board. I mean, I know I'm not a professional scout, but I mean, I'm an average football watcher. I've watched some May games, but I just don't see anything. I don't see anything special.
Drake May reminds me of Sam Howell. He had that good year the year before he was going to get drafted, and in the year he came back, he had a down year. I mean, Drake May wasn't horrible last year, but that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of Sam Howell. Sam Howell fell in the 5th round. That's not going to happen to Drake May, but that's what it reminded me of.
You could almost argue the same thing about Caleb Williams.
He still had a good year. He still 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions is still good, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, when you're going against Pac-12 defenses. And their defense was a fucking high school defense. So when your defense is letting up 60 points, you're going to have to fucking sling the ball.
Wasn't it Arizona State they had a shootout with that they should have clobbered?
And what, Colorado they had a shootout with?
Yep. Colorado's another big one. They almost lost that game.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, Colorado's got an offense, but still, you should have – a USC Pac-12 defense should have been a hell of a lot better going up against that Colorado team.
Hey, if I'm the Patriots, no offensive line. All I'm saying is if I'm the Patriots, if Daniels isn't on the board, you trade out of that pick or you take Marvin Harrison. I don't care what you do, but you wait for next year for Shedeur Sanders. That's all I'm saying.
That's why I've been saying I think prime trade candidates for the Bears this year is New England. Puts us right where we want to be with getting Marvin Harrison, and then we get a first-round pick for next year.
Yeah. Chris, though, keep us going with Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, this Arizona is going to be licking their fucking lips if the top 3 picks are all quarterbacks. Yeah. I mean, all eyes point to Kyler Murray returning to be quarterback. I know Arizona's holes all over the defense. And they definitely need some defensive players. But with Marvin Harrison still on the board at number 4, which like any other draft class, he'd probably be a first or second pick, honestly. I mean, huge fucking receiver, but can threaten the long ball, can play up short. I mean, there's no way Arizona doesn't go Harrison.
Yeah, I have not much to say. It's the consensus number 4 pick if the first 3 are quarterbacks. So
they're going to be happy with that.
Oh yeah, I think 4 is a given, boys. I don't think there's much discussing that one.
Yep.
Allen's back on the clock or back on the board with the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh's first pick too.
Yep. I think Jim Harbaugh's gonna come in, and when you look at how he builds his teams, I think that you've got to see what's available out there and know he's gonna build on defense. He's gonna build on your offensive line. But right now, I don't think that that's a need for the Chargers. So, man, there's so many options out there, really. But I think,
Chargers are interesting.
Chargers are really interesting. Where I'm going with this, if I'm the Chargers, I'm going Brock Bowers. Get the way that he plays, the way that he builds his teams. He wants tight ends. You saw him when he was with the Niners before. I think that that's a need on that team to go and get Herbert a safety net, and not the Keenan Allen or the Mike Williams is going to be gone. I think so. I think they've got to go out and get him.
You get a receiver next year if you want. You get a receiver next year.
You could get a receiver a little bit later in the draft too. I mean, I feel like the receiver room in this draft is deep.
Yeah, I agree, and I think Brock Bowers is a talent you don't want to pass up on. And there's nobody. There's nobody right now in this position of the draft that is a difference maker on defense that I would take at top 5. I think Bowers is that freak phenom. That a guy that can become that safety blanket for Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, Bowers can play outside. He can play like a receiver if he wants to. Maybe not as fast as a receiver, but he's explosive. He's definitely the most explosive tight end that we've seen in quite some time coming into the draft. I mean, Kyle Pitts was pretty athletic, but I don't think he was as explosive as a Brock Bowers. And Brock Bowers was, like you said, with Justin Herbert, that would be filthy. And then, I mean, Harbaugh knows what he's doing. He had Vernon Davis back at the Niners, and he used him pretty well, who athletic tight end as his own right. So
it's honestly the best of both worlds. Gives you a lineman to help block and gives you a receiver to help down the field, because if Keenan Allen gets hurt again, this season's over.
And with that, though, like the Giants being the 6th pick, I think with all the quarterbacks gone in the top 3, I don't think they look at JJ. And I think Yeah, Joe Alt's still there, and you know they always. It seems like the Giants always need tackle help. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, Jules, out there. He's a Giants fan, and he was saying he's tired of fucking drafting offensive tackles in the first round. He's tired of offensive linemen. He wants a receiver, and Malik Neighbors is sitting right there. And I get it. Daniel Jones is a guy that they paid, and we're going to see if he is the guy this year. If they're going to maybe replace him with a Russell Wilson or someone in the draft. Maybe they have 2 second-rounders. Maybe they go quarterback there. If Bo Nix or Michael Penix is there, do they draft him? But I think getting Malik Neighbors, this would be like the first superstar receiver they've had, I think, since Odell Beckham Jr., another LSU receiver. And Malik Neighbors is arguably the best receiver in the college ranks right now. I'm not saying Marvin Harrison's not, but if you watch Malik Neighbors play, this guy can play inside and out. He's a yak guy. He's smooth. He's crisp. He has great feet work. His route running can be a little improved, but I mean, Julio Jones had route problems coming into the NFL. That can be worked on with proper coaching and proper personnel around you. The Giants would be thrilled to get Malik Neighbors. I think that would help Daniel Jones maybe stay there, but give me Malik Neighbors to the New York Giants.
Well, coming up next for Tennessee, this is a very, very tough decision if you're Tennessee and Joe Alt's on the board. Even with receivers still on the board. I mean, this is a very tough pick because they definitely need help in the receiver. The quarterback show last year was very impressive, trying to build up to continue, keep that success going. But I think an offensive lineman is definitely something that could help very much. And I think, with Joe Alt, I mean, I don't think you can miss with him. Very good length, the athleticism, the speed and the agility, the ability to hold guys back. I mean, I'm going Joe Alt. I think that there's going to be receivers later on. I think this is a very, very strong receiver class, and I think you got to jump on the opportunity to get a solid lineman to help protect that quarterback.
And I think it's good to help Will Levis. I mean, second-year quarterback coming in. I mean, you get the best, probably the most powerful athletic tackle in the game coming in the pros this year, and you get him at 7. I mean, you help your young quarterback. It'd be a steal, in my opinion. At 7.
Yeah. You can't pass on him. I think he's the guy in this spot. Everybody else on the board right now were direct needs for their team, and the Titans have so many needs, but they also got to get a guy that can protect your quarterback.
I think we got a kicker coming up next for Atlanta.
No, we got Young Wei Hoku. He's a beast, dude. Come on.
Oh, sorry, punter. My bad, punter.
Punters.
Yeah.
Well, you need a long snapper.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I want, but it ain't my pick. It ain't my pick.
With the 8th pick of the 2024 draft, I think Atlanta's going to go probably a water boy off of Michigan, stealing them signs. Really get
they definitely
in the South.
I take
that's thinking outside the box. I like that.
Hey, yes, they didn't hire Bill Belichick. They didn't hire Bill Belichick. Okay, they don't have cheaters on staff.
Or Jim Harbaugh. We didn't hire.
That's why I'm trying to draft one.
Yeah. But Atlanta here. I mean, of course, you have the quarterback question, but I don't think they're going to draft one unless they trade up. I don't know, but wide receiver and edge is here. What I'm looking at for the Falcons, they definitely need some help on that defensive line, but they also need help to line somebody up next to Drake London. And with the history that we look at with the Falcons, they're drafting these offensive key playmakers. So, I mean, it's a tough decision between like Rome Odunze from Washington, or I might have to be selfish here, and I'd hate to see it. I think they might go Brian Thomas Jr. here. I mean, the boy's built fucking huge, touchdown monster, and also I think it was like the 3rd fastest 40-yard time by a wide receiver higher than like 210. I think the next one was like DK Metcalf.
Well, he was tied for 2nd this year of the receivers. He was tied with Mitchell. And then
it was like the 3rd fastest for like his weight, and the other one was like DK Metcalf. I'd have to look.
So
but
you're going Brian Thomas for sure?
Yeah, no, I'm going Brian Thomas. I think just like that. I think you have Drake London there, the speedster. I think he's more of like a scrawny wide receiver. I mean, Mark can talk more about it. But
he's a little thin framed, Jack, compared to Brian Thomas. Yeah, he's a little thin.
I can see that like big, thick build of like a DK Metcalf that would definitely open it up there with that offense.
So pretty much Drake London, I mean, he's a little thinner than Roddy, but maybe he's the Roddy White, and then Thomas would be the Julio. A little bigger, stronger, faster.
I can see it.
Man, this one's tough for me because he's so far down that draft board, man, on a lot of these rankings.
I had to do a lot of scrolling.
He's my fourth receiver. I think he's my fourth receiver.
I mean, I get it. He's a phenom, but they just went with a defensive coach. And I can't see them not going with a defensive player to build around.
But our defense wasn't the worst last year. We were still top 10.
But I'm not saying that, but you already got Kyle Pitts, who's a physical phenom, and you're gonna get somebody to unlock that.
Yeah, but
because that's been the problem with Smith.
Kyle Pitts is blocking as well. He's not going up the seam every single play.
Well, if you get Kirk Cousins, I think
this whole decision, and then there's time in the free agency until the draft. This whole decision is based on whether or not Atlanta gets a quarterback. If Atlanta does not get a quarterback, if they don't land Fields in a trade or sign Kirk Cousins or get Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson, which I don't know why they would want to, but if they don't go quarterback in free agency, I'm not saying they're going to draft one first in that position because I think there's still going to be enough options later on in the second round with Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. That I think are a better shot to take with a second-round pick with the talent available in the top 10. There's no doubt in my mind they're going with a defensive phenom, and I think they're taking an edge rusher. If they don't get a quarterback to pair that receiver with, you're wasting the pick. It's the same thing. Drake London could be very good, but we haven't seen him really be able to tap his potential because we haven't had a quarterback thrown to him. So I think it's going to be driven by the quarterback situation in Atlanta when draft day comes.
Yeah, Atlanta's going to have no choice but to get a quarterback. I mean, it's either going to be Cousins, it's going to be Fields, it's going to be – I mean, hey, maybe Atlanta throws some money at Baker because, I mean, Baker's not taking the hometown discount. And I know y'all disagree, but I think – the Mike Evans signing doesn't lock down Baker in Tampa. It doesn't. I mean, they're not going to let Mike Evans leave.
The quarterback situation is also not Atlanta's choice here. It's not like the draft. I mean, they can, unless they're going to way overpay somebody like Baker Mayfield, you know what I mean, to guarantee that he comes there. But otherwise, I mean, trading is a two-way street. You got to get a team that agrees with you. The Steelers can come in and swoop Justin Fields. There's been a lot of talk with that. The buzz is rising there. Kirk Cousins, if he ends up going back to Minnesota, you know what I mean? There are a lot of veteran quarterbacks out there, but if you're talking about using a number 8 pick on a wide receiver, you want to make sure you're pairing them with a good quarterback, with a stud, not with a Teddy Bridgewater.
I will say, this is not to be biased. We are probably one of the more interesting teams in free agency and in the draft, depending on what we do in free agency, just because of the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Now, if we get Kirk Cousins, I agree with Chris. We're going to do if he falls to 8. I don't know about Brian Thomas. I like him. I think he's good. He only had one good year in college, and it happened to be last season. But Oduzze's been a proven commodity for the last 2 seasons. So I'm not saying anything about Thomas. I'm just saying it's more known that Oduzze's there. But let's move on to the Bears, Alan.
Yeah, in this situation, I think it's very similar to what Chris was just talking about with the Falcons. I think that I think the Bears are going to go wide receiver here. I liked Brock Bowers if he had fallen to them, and I think that it's a possibility they could do that.
To the Bears draft. You missed that in the Discord earlier, Doc.
Yeah. I actually think that's a good idea.
Break it down for me.
Cole Kmet is not as good as everybody wants to prop him up to be. And I think Brock Bowers is a good guy that, again, pairing a quarterback with the tight end is a safety blanket, especially in the NFL. They give you a guy to throw down the middle of the field with. DJ Moore on the outside. That's going to be a surefire way for the Bears to really kickstart a team with a rookie quarterback, especially with a guy like Caleb Williams. You want to see what his arm can do. That's why you're drafting him. And I think that Brock Bowers would be a great fit for them if he was to make it there, right? I don't know if they make him there. But in this situation, I feel like with Rome Odunze on the board, they've got to go with him because you want to pair a big wide receiver. This guy's 6'4". He's fast. He's got ability to go up and get the ball. You want to get a guy that you don't know. You don't have to know whether or not he's open or not. You can just throw the ball up to him and pair that with the guy on the other side, which is DJ Moore, where you're not going to be able to double team this other wide receiver because you got to try to lock down DJ Moore. I think that this is a surefire way to really build this offense, open up the running game through its passing, and really see what Caleb Williams' arm can do. So I'm going in this situation. I'm going Rome Odunze.
And that's solid. I think I've seen a lot of mocks. If not even if he's the fourth receiver, but if he's the third receiver there, and Atlanta passes on him for Dallas Turner or whatever we do, I've seen Duze go in there if he falls to Chicago. And I think it would be good pairing with DJ Moore and whoever the quarterback is for the Chicago Bears. Doesn't matter if it's Fields. Doesn't matter if it's fucking Daniels or Caleb. Whoever those three they go for or settle with, it would be phenomenal to have Odunze and DJ Moore together. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I think Odunze. I think even if Bauer's available at that spot, I don't think. I mean, they locked Cole Kmet over 700 yards receiving last year, which is a breakout year for him, 6 touchdowns. I mean, with what they're working,
700 yards a breakout. You're paying this guy top dollars.
Okay, let's remember the offensive line problems that we've had in Chicago with Cole Kmet, the quarterback uncertainties. Cole Kmet is a solid tight end, and if you don't believe that, listen to me. If you don't believe that, you need to watch the Bears play.
My guy, I'm watching them. They're paying. I had Cole Kmet on my fantasy team on multiple teams. All right, you're paying.
He balled out for me.
Top 10 tight end. You're paying top 10 tight end money for solid. You like that?
I'm happy with Cole Kmet as a tight end. Yeah.
Damn.
I like Cole Kmet as a tight end.
Not when you got Brock Bowers on the board. All I'm saying is you want to get
I need a wide receiver 2 over a tight end 2.
You can find 1 million of them in this draft. We already said this draft is deep.
And I need early to mid first round talent with that 9th pick over a tight end. I don't see a way in hell I'm taking Brock Bowers in this draft.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. Like, it's not that many mocks, but I've seen it. But speaking of a team that might draft Brock Bowers to be false to him, I don't think they do. Aaron Rodgers might lobby it, but that's the New York Jets. They kept their first-round pick because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. They're only going to get their second-round pick now. And this guy I would pick, I know he's following a lot on some people's boards. I'm not going to try and pronounce his first name because it's fucking hard as shit. But I'm going to go to the offensive tackle, Fashanu, out of the fucking Penn State Nittany Lions. I think he'd be the new left tackle for Aaron Rodgers. Big boy, 6'6", over 300-plus pounds. Ran a 5'11" in the combine. I mean, the dude's a freak. He's athletic. He's big. He's strong. He's got a very compact body build. And he would protect Aaron Rodgers for the next couple of years, and whoever the quarterback of the future would be past Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to go left tackle out of the Jets. First 10 picks, boys. No defense, by the way. All offense so far.
Yeah, I like that pick with Fashuno. He's a guy with that team is going to be run first anyway, and he's a big guy that can move anybody.
Yeah, definitely great in the run. Penn State's what they do. So yeah, I mean, not a sexy pick if you're looking at like all these receivers and all that, but it's what the Jets need. So that's where I went.
Yeah, this next one for Minnesota, another tough one. A couple different ways they can go here. I'm seeing a lot of stock rising. J.J. McCarthy to go to Minnesota with the quarterback uncertainty. Weren't happy with the constant swapping back and forth and what they had last year. So, I mean, this is a great spot for McCarthy to go. Also, the possibility of losing Hunter on the defensive side. So, Dallas Turner's another great option here. The fact that he's even on the board still outside the top 10, I think, is impressive. God, this is tough. I think – shit.
Yeah, Minnesota's tough because they have all three. Their top pass rushers are free agents. We don't know if they're going to sign any of them yet, but the top three are free agents. Quarterback's a situation too. So JJ's sitting there. I mean, I know Denver's right behind them, but
yeah, defense or not, I think we've seen, especially in the division, defense is not going to win you the division. Having that high-powered offenses. We saw the struggles with Detroit last year. We saw some struggles with Green Bay's defense. Chicago came together once they got Montez Sweat deal done. Honestly, I mean, I think that they're one of the better defenses in that division. So I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to try to stay ahead with the offense. They're going to try to stay ahead of the game there, try to keep the points on the board. So I'm going to go, it's maybe an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to go J.J. McCarthy.
That would fuck Denver so bad, too. Denver would be unless they go Bo Nix, but I mean.
I think they have to at this point.
Because they don't have a second-round pick. That's the problem. The Broncos be fucked.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to burn one.
And the Broncos, right now, the Broncos are freaking having orgasms over J.J. McCarthy. Like, they just cannot get enough of him. They literally showed bad tape to all these other quarterbacks. They don't want to talk to anybody except for J.J. McCarthy. They were in there freaking singing his praises during his interview. I think they really want that. And man, if he goes right in front of them, oof.
And that would piss Rizzo off, too. We're going to be live on YouTube that night. And he said if JJ goes to number 11 or they trade up for him, we have to remove him before, as soon as the pick's announced, we just have to click him out. He's going to be he's going to be probably breaking shit.
I see a better chance of Minnesota bringing back a couple of their edge rushers, at least two of them, over bringing back Kirk Cousins. I mean, obviously, and again, this is an early mock draft, right? I mean, maybe we do another one of these right before, after some free agency, and make some moves.
We have 2 more left in us, probably, yeah.
Yeah, make some that make more sense. But right now, where it stands with the uncertainties in Minnesota, I think locking down the quarterback position is a better option for them right now. There are a lot of edge rushers on the market that I think Minnesota can go out and get to keep that defense going.
Well, you fucked Chris because I know he's probably going to go JJ or a quarterback right there.
Boom.
I mean, surprisingly, I really wasn't going to go quarterback here. I mean, I know quarterback's a big question, especially the news with Russell Wilson today, the dead cap.
See ya.
I just think maybe Denver could snag Bo Nix, which would also be a great fit later in the draft. I don't think he's going to go in the first round. I mean, Broncos
they don't have a
a
second
lot
round
of
pick, Chris.
You think Bo Nix is going second round?
Well, I'm saying Denver doesn't have a second-round pick, so they're like in a spot. Now, do they overreact if the fourth quarterback's taken before them? Because they don't have a chance for a quarterback with Michael Penix or Bo Nix.
Honestly, I mean, I said this, and I don't know if this is going to play out, but I said this earlier that the best quarterback out of this draft may end up being a guy that's not even in the first round. And maybe it's Michael Penix. Maybe it's some of these other guys that we don't really know very much.
Penix.
I think he's I
said Penix. Yeah, no, Michael Penix. But I kind of feel like they've got a third. Whoever's in that spot in the third, if this is what happens, if J.J. McCarthy's gone, I think that they can probably go with best talent. Because again, they still need a lot on that team, offense or defense. They still need a lot on that team. They could go with best talent, and then, try to get a QB later. But
somebody had Brock Bowers dropped to 12. All the post combine mocks that are going up, I'm seeing Burst going a lot higher now.
And Dallas Turner's fallen than ours.
Yeah,
he's crushed in college. He's had back-to-back seasons with 9+ sacks. I think he's averaged 9 sacks a season in college and 12 game, playoffs too. But I mean, or bowl games. But yeah, Dallas Turner fallen though. Yeah, quarterback matters. But Alan, what you got with the Raiders?
Yeah, I think the Raiders have a lot of team needs. I think that they're trying to build a team that's going to be smash mouth, get in your face. They don't need edge, which sucks for Dallas Turner, man, because this guy is dropping down our freaking mock draft right now. He's going to be one of those guys sitting in the green room wondering where his picks at.
Imagine him next to Max Crosby, opposite of Crosby. That would be fucking filthy.
I mean, I just don't think that they even need that. And I think where they need help is they need help in their cornerback room. And everything that I'm seeing, everything that I'm hearing, as the GM of the Raiders, I think that they go Terrion Arnold out of Alabama.
Yeah, he's the number one on most people's board.
I personally believe that Nate Wiggins is probably the best. but out of Clemson. But
he's a speedster. I mean, yeah, he can fly.
Yeah.
Damn. So with me being the Saints, god damn, like I didn't think Dallas Turner would be there. I mean, Cameron Jordan's getting old. I know he still sticks around. He plays hard. I mean, Cameron Jordan's a beast. The Saints need help on the defensive line. They need help on the offensive line. Chris, who was that tackle you guys drafted a couple years ago who's been hurt? And yeah, Penning hasn't really worked out at all. And then it's not sexy, but they need guard. They need tackle help. I mean, God, I just didn't think Dallas Turner would be there, and I would hate to not draft him here and he falls, but I don't think the Saints are worried about the defense as much because they usually make the defense work. They're usually above average defense, sometimes even top 10, top 7 defense every year. I think with J.C. Latham, he's getting a lot of high in praise right now at Alabama, right tackle. Big body, he's literally huge. He's 6'6", 340-plus pounds, and he's a beast. I mean, he didn't really run the combine. We don't know his true game speed, but he held his own at Alabama. He's good in the run game. He can protect the quarterback. He did good for Jalen Milroe. I'm going to go Saints going right tackle out of Alabama, J.C. Latham.
I like it. I think that's a good pick.
Not sexy, but, I mean, got to protect Derek Carr.
I think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends if JC's had fucking ACL issues his whole college career, because apparently the Saints love to draft injury-prone players. So,
yeah, you guys do have a history of that. Yeah, I do like seeing that. Doc, Indianapolis Colts, very interesting team here out of the AFC South. Ethan Richardson should be back. So, I mean,
yeah, this one's tough because I was looking my full mock draft. I actually had Brian Thomas falling all the way down here.
Chris is biased. That wasn't going to.
Chris had him, but I know there's a couple of holes they can fill. I know they also need a cornerback.
They receiver corner. Me and Al were talking earlier. Jacksonville and the Indianapolis Colts are literally identical. They both need secondary and they need pass catchers.
It is tough, and honestly, I'm looking at the board, and a lot of mocks I'm not seeing Keon Coleman on a lot of mock drafts. I'm a huge Keon Coleman fan, obviously, out of my school that I'm a fan of at Florida State. I thought he did an incredible job, and he was a huge piece in that offense and the success that offense had last year. Donnie Mitchell. I mean, there's a lot of good guys on the board, but I think I'm going to go Kenyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo, to help give some. And again, has there been? I thought I saw something about. God, I just had his name. Pittman. Have they come out with anything about Pittman or?
No news yet. The people are expecting to be tagged by tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking too. So that's why I think they can afford to hold off on a receiver and go maybe middle of next round and go for a receiver there. Take advantage. This guy Mitchell out of Toledo has been really good stuff. I'm excited to see him. I think he'll be a good fit in Indianapolis.
And the other thing that I'm seeing, the other thing that I'm seeing though out of the Colts, if you go back over the last couple of years, they just try to get physical phenoms. They're trying to get guys that are just their physical profile is better than other guys. They will work with less talent if you have the physical capability, and they'll build up the skills. I think that's what we've seen, and it's working. You look at what they did last year with that young team, and it's very successful.
Coleman fits that too. That's why I don't think, honestly, I think regardless, I think if Mitchell's available, if a top corner's available, or a top receiver, so I think it's a no-brainer. They're going corner or receiver.
Yeah. I mean, it only makes sense, honestly, for the Colts to do it. But I was going to say, Pittman being gone, that would be.
I think that changes it. I think that changes it, and they go receiver.
It honestly does.
Yeah.
I think if the receivers though are there, I mean, like you said, Coleman's a big body receiver. He's not fast, but
he's physical. He's physical as hell. He's a red zone threat.
I once again, I'm biased too. So I think Mitchell would be good with the Colts. He's a big body receiver. He is fast as well. He's got a wide frame. I know we were talking about that earlier with the Ravens and the Chiefs. A guy like Lamar Jackson would favor a guy like Mitchell, but Just the AFC South in general. I mean, they all need corners and they all need receivers. It seems like. I know Houston has Tank Dell and Nico Collins, but Nico Collins is not potentially going to be there after this season. So they're a team that can go receiver as well. I know Chris was talking about the Seahawks. Let's just preview them before Chris jumps in. I think if Dallas Turner's there, I don't know, man. Seattle could always use a pass rusher.
Yeah, to me, I think that if Dallas Turner drops this far in the draft, it's got to be Seattle.
He could go to Jacksonville too, to be honest.
He could but I think that they're tagging Josh Allen. I don't think that they go there. But I mean, I Dallas Turner being on the board right now for Seattle is where I think that's the spot he just doesn't get past.
I don't know. It seems like Seattle kind of needs help pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
He is going Fuaga from Oregon State. So, yeah, big run right tackle.
I like that pick. I do like that pick. I mean, I know Dallas Turner is still on the board. I don't think that he gets past it, but I could definitely see them kneeling or not kneeling, but diving into this offense and just trying to go more run heavy to even help the defense.
That's my big question mark too, is with the Bears at number 9, because I think there's a good chance Dallas Turner goes number 9 to the Bears.
I don't think the Bears take a top talent on defense in this draft when your defense was really good. And I don't know how much you're going to lose.
We already cut Eddie Jackson, who's been a flash of what he was in the past. Jalen Johnson is still not finalized. I'm hoping, even if we bring him back, we're going to be looking over $20 million a year probably to bring him back. Getting a cheap guy to go opposite of Montez Sweat, who we're paying a ton of money to in Sweat. So getting a guy that we can control for the next 4 years, 5 years, and on a bit of a discount, I think would be beneficial. But I still like receiver like you picked. Honestly, I think either one. I don't think you go wrong with either one of them. I personally would like receiver because I need a wide receiver too better. But again, with how deep this draft class is, you never know what's going to be available in the second round, and I think we have 1 or 2 extra picks in the second round too. But God, it's a tough decision.
It could be something where you guys just take the best available talent at 9 and you just say, hey, we'll see what we got with the best available talent.
Could be.
What are the Jaguars doing though, Al? I missed it if you said it.
No, I haven't said it yet. I think Jaguars, I think Doug Peterson, I think with what they're trying to accomplish, they know last year was a misstep. It was a step backwards from where they were trying to go. They were great the year before with Trevor Lawrence, and they took a step backwards. So I got them getting him some protection on the inside because that's how teams got to him. They pressured him right up the middle. I think they go right here with Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon, offensive lineman from Oregon. I think that he's the best center on the board, and I think they're gonna go out and get him to solidify that offensive line in the middle.
Yeah, Jacksonville's a question mark. We already hammered them, so not much to say. That would probably steal the pick from Miami. I think Miami would look at them, but Bengals, it's very simple. Protect Joe Burrow. I'm gonna go Amarius Mims, very raw offensive tackle, right tackle out of the University of Georgia Bulldogs. He's a big son of a bitch, dude. That guy's 6'8", 340. And let me tell you, he was moving in the combine. He was moving 5'07". That's a good time for a tackle that big. So I think he'll protect Joe Burrow, keep him on his feet, keep him healthy. Give me the right tackle out of the Georgia Bulldogs for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, another tough pick here. 19 with the Rams. Dallas Turner's on the board. That's what I'm thinking. I'm kind of between Turner and Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, the cornerback. I think that the Rams offense is very explosive. I think defense is where they need to help to keep the game close, take some of that pressure off the offense. But I think I'm going to go with a premier talent that's going to change the speed, put somebody in there with Aaron Donald and really just shake up the offensive line on the opposing team. I think Dallas Turner, if he's down here by this point, I think 19 is where he finally comes off the board.
Great pick. Aaron Donald and Turner. I'm not even going to argue it. That's a great pick. Good steal for them, too.
Huge steal. Huge steal if he's there. You'll find it. Second and third round corners are nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. Chris, what about the old Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers here, they definitely need some offensive line help. Also looking at cornerback here. I mean, I had Jackson Powers slotted here for the Steelers. So, I mean, Alan, you fucked me on this one, not going to lie. And then my next one was Mims out of Georgia. So,
we're good at what we do.
I mean, I'm going to go, let's go next guy up then. Tyler Gutton. I think Steelers definitely 100% need offensive line help. The center, problematic literally all year. Left tackle all season. I think offensive tackle, even if it's the third or fourth guy on their board. I mean, I know Kool-Aid McKinstry right there is looking pretty good, but I think that offensive line it needs it.
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh needs corner, they need line. I mean, it's simple as what they value the most at the spot.
Yeah, I think that Dolphins got to feel really bad at this point because now all the offensive linemen are gone. But I do think that the Dolphins try to make something happen in free agency. Like you guys always say, salary cap is a joke. Things can be made. I think Dolphins try to make a move during free agency to shore this up so they don't have to go with an inexperienced rookie that they have to build up all that. And I think here, I think they go edge. I think they want to continue to get pressure on the quarterback defensively. Yeah, they let go of Xavier Howard, but I don't even know how to say this first name, Latu. I think that's who they're going right here if he's on the board.
Where at? The pass rusher?
Yeah, the pass rusher from UCLA.
Yeah, he's a freak. He had neck problems in 2021. I believe he was not with UCLA. He transferred. Mm-hmm. I can't remember if it was Oregon or if it was someone in the Pac-12. I just can't remember who it was. And he was a freak, though. He was a little slower in the combine, but he was a beast for the UCLA Bruins.
Yeah, I think that on the other side of they got Bradley on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, Bradley Chubb. Yeah, that would be interesting. And a team that's going to be interesting is the Philadelphia Eagles because, goddamn, do they need help in the defense. They need help at safety, linebacker, corner. You're not going linebacker this early, too early. But
now they got a gaping hole in the offensive line.
Yeah, you need a center here. I mean, I think that they'll sacrifice that for this first pick. You could even argue if Brian Thomas is here, they could go receiver. I mean,
and Fletcher Cox just retired too, didn't he?
I think he's a free agent.
Free agent?
Yeah, but I think here on the board, since there's only been 2 corners picked, I think Philly would also be eating their chops or licking their chops here. I think Nate Wiggins out of Clemson.
Yeah,
he would fit. He's a dog. He's physical. He is a freak. He's fast. I mean, he's a track star guy. I just think he would fit the persona out there in Philly, what they need. Like I said, he's a good press corner. He's got great feet work, and he's off the man. He's what you need. And I'm going to take him at the number 3 corner spot, number 22. So give me Wiggins.
I like it. Like I said, I think I have Wiggins. To me personally, I think Wiggins is the best in the draft, best talent at quarterback, and I think it's a good fit for the Eagles. They definitely need help with their DBs.
All right, Doc. Houston, the old Texans.
Yeah, next up for Houston, I mean, there were a lot of issues last year on defense with them, a lot of shootouts that they could have easily won if they had the defense to hold it down. I think the best way to start putting that together is Zerjan Newton, defensive tackle from Illinois. I think he's a guy that can really shore up that inside defensive line, stop the run game, get through, break through to the quarterback. Big guy, 6'2", 295 pounds out of Illinois, up the field pass rusher. You know, I think that he would just be that like final missing piece to Houston's defensive line to really change the tempo of the opposing offense to start getting kind of controlling the outcome of the plays.
Yeah, Houston. I can see Newton. I can see Murphy. One of those two guys I can see going there for sure.
Murphy's another. Yeah, if Newton's not available, Murphy would be my backup for sure.
Cowboys, Chris, America's team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep the trend here with
draft them a dumpster so they can just put the whole team in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep the trend going a little bit with offensive tackle. I think the offensive line needs some help, and I think they're gonna go running back with Saquon. Everyone's putting all their money on that one. So I'm going Troy Fautanu out of Washington. I think he was a huge part of that playoff push for Washington. I think he's a day one starter as well. Just big, fast, electric.
Yeah, I definitely see Dallas. I think Dallas might even let Tyron Smith go. And
he's
I
gone.
think that I know he is. I'm just saying that they're going to try to you're going to try to negotiate and get him back, but I don't think that they are. I think they're going to let him walk. And I think that he's injury prone. So I think that this is a great pick for Dallas to try to bring that back.
Yeah, I can see it.
Who's got the Packers? Let me see you pick another tight end.
Oh, I've seen everyone pick the same person for the Packers. Let's see if Alan can keep that same trend. Alan, what you got there for the Packers?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at this Packers team, and there's a lot of there's not a lot of needs on this team. I think that they've got a young squad. I don't think you need another wide receiver. They obviously, like Doc said, they don't need another tight end. I think they've got running back kind of locked in. I think it's on the defensive side, and I think that they go out and get a little bit of help on the defensive side. A guy that's been floated around is Cooper DeJean, and I think he's probably the fit there. I think he's the guy that Packers want to take in this position.
That's the name I've been waiting for. Everyone keeps saying it's him. Now, Tampa's in an interesting spot because they need help on the O-line, and they could use – I mean, now that Mike Evans is there, I think they can maybe hold off on receiver. I also had them looking at maybe a pass rusher as well. I mean, you have some guys there with Chop Robinson who had a pretty good combine. I mean, he was a freak. Now, I could also maybe see them going interior defensive line. Murphy's sitting there, and I said Murphy's a top 15, top 16 pick before the show, and I really do. That could be a pick maybe for the Cardinals after they got receiver and they need help on the D-line. They need help everywhere in general. But not a sexy pick here. I'm going to go guard out of Duke. I'm going to go Graham Barton for the Bucks. Protect Baker Mayfield. That's who I think is going to return for the Bucks. Get him some help on the O-line. We saw him take a beating against the Detroit Lions. I think they go guard out of Duke, Barton. Graham Barton.
All right.
Now, I said that's not sexy. It's not appealing, but it's the end of the first round. So I mean,
yeah, I think that's a good spot. I think that's a good spot for them.
So Arizona up next. I think with Marvin Harrison obviously going number 4. Wide receiver is not something they want to tackle, although they could. They still need more wide receivers. I mean, Keon Coleman is sitting there looking good. I also like McKinstry out of Alabama, the corner, to help on that defensive side. I really want to go Keon Coleman here, but I just don't see 2 first-round picks going to wide receiver. So I am going to go with the cornerback, Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. 6 foot, 180 pounds, thin, fast, holds down the secondary. I think he's a great pick, great fit for Arizona to help bolster that defense.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona needs corner. I mean, and I think Kool-Aid, he was supposed to be number 1 out of Alabama, but Arnold took that spot slowly throughout the year. And I think he would fit Jonathan Gannon's style of play. He's a dog out there. He's also a good returner too, Doc. So, I mean, that would help him in the return game.
Yeah.
But I got Chris's pick for the Buffalo Bills. You've already mentioned Coleman. Chris has got Coleman. He's got the receiver out of Florida State, he's a big body receiver. He's a different style of receiver than Stephon Diggs. They did lose Gabe Davis. He's not fast, but Chris said big. He's the best contested wide receiver right now at the spot. So he would go Coleman, pair him with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen.
He'd be a great fit, though, I think, in Buffalo with Josh Allen in that scheme. I think he'd be a phenomenal receiver. He's just what Allen needs to go up and get that ball and come down with it and stop tipping all these interceptions to the other team.
All right. Allen, what you thinking over the Detroit Lions? Another interesting team. Defense, they need help all over, but what you thought there?
Oh, man. I think Detroit Lions are a little bit upset. I think they were licking their chops waiting for McKinstry to come to the board for them. They really needed a lockdown type of guy, and he was going to be able to provide that. I mean, he's just the cornerback that's always there in the right spot. He's just that guy doesn't make mistakes.
Lassiter's pretty good.
I don't think that Lassiter is a guy that fits their scheme well because they run a 4-2-5. They're not running a lot of zone defense. They're running more man coverage. So Lassiter isn't the guy that fits their scheme. He's not a big guy either. And I think that when you look at the board right now, man.
I'm telling you now, Alan. This is not me biased, but if Murphy's there at number 30. Or number 29, I'm telling you now, you put him next to Hutchinson, those boys will eat. That's just me.
Or you put Robinson opposite of him.
Hey, I think that they need another wide receiver too. I really do think that the Lions need another wide receiver. But in this situation, man, I think that they might. I think they might want to go with another one of your boys, Adonai Mitchell. Big guy who's going to go up and get the ball. I think Adonai Mitchell is the guy that they go here, not Murphy, because you've already got that small guy that's in the middle of the field. You already got that small guy that's your utility guy. I don't think that they need to go out and get that fast guy that's going to take off the top of the field. They need a number 2 wide receiver that is going to be able to play in the intermediate zone.
And when the good thing about Mitchell is he can do both. He ran a 4.33. He is quick. Yeah, I mean,
he's fast.
He can do both.
He can take it off the top, but he's big enough to where he's going to be able to survive in that medium range. And again, you've already got that small guy that is your utility guy that's taking these crossing routes and all that shit. You need a guy that's going to level that off, either take it deep down the field or take that medium route. No, we know Jared Goff's favorite route is that damn deep in.
Yeah, I think Mitchell would fit well there. I would like to see him in St. Brown and Williams. Alabama would be perfect. And that's who I was going to go with the Baltimore Ravens because I think he would fit a Lamar Jackson style play. You give him a big body receiver that has a wide frame that can make the difficult catches. Mitchell can make great catches. I've seen it time and time. He was big in the playoffs with Georgia as well before he transferred over. I would look at Worthy here potentially for the Ravens, but I just don't see it. I think Franklin from Oregon took a hit this combine, and I think with Murphy sitting there, we know the Ravens love defense, and Matabuke is potentially a free agent if they don't tag him.
He's gone.
But they could sign him, but we don't know yet. I think you get Murphy even if Matabuke stays. You get a dog out there on the defensive line. You get a guy that can cause pressure in the backfield who's a great run stopper. What the AFC North does, by the way, is run the ball. Give me Murphy out of Texas, back-to-back Longhorns.
I like it.
For the Ravens.
Another tough one up next for the Niners. Need help in the offensive line. Need some help in the secondary. If Murphy's there, I'm taking Murphy.
God, that'd be filthy. Murphy and Nick Bosa. God damn, dude. Might be a low-key Niners fan just to see Murphy do good. I mean, I like to see my boys do good in the next level, but damn.
Man, this is tough. I think I'm gonna get that help that they need the most on the offensive line. I'm gonna go Sua Mataya, the offensive tackle out of BYU. Oh, actually, yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. Don't know a ton about him. I've been reading up a little bit, seeing a lot of great things. Very athletic.
Great against the run, which McCaffrey.
Great against which they need. Yeah, so I think the Niners. I mean, there isn't a lot of help that they need on this team, but the offensive line is one of them they need to tackle. I'm going to go. Oops, I picked the wrong one. I'm going to go with Sumataya.
And Chris did text me his pick. He's going to go Xavier Worthy for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah,
I think we saw him run that 4-2-1. I've seen him make some great, incredible plays out there in Texas. He's a great returner as well. You pair him with Rice, Travis Kelce. Worthy would take the top off the field, and you have Rice underneath. And I think it would be good. I think Worthy's also a better player than just run straight and go catch a ball. That might be biased because of the Texas ties, but I've seen him make crazy play after crazy play, and he's a freak. So Chris would have Worthy going there, and very interesting draft. I mean, that's the thing too. It's crazy. We don't know what's going to happen. We can sit here and make all these little mock drafts. Our official 1.0 the week of because we're going to do that. Our official mock draft, run it back like last year. We don't know. We honestly don't know. Everything's smokescreen. Everything's thrown at the wall, and we don't know what's going to stick. So I think it was some good picks there, though. I think some of these would be good fits. I can't wait to go live on this, boys. I'm telling you, round one's going to be fun. It's going to be electric. It's going to be the type of energy that we've been waiting for we're trying to do last year, but
so I just pulled one up in another tab and picking just as the Bears for the draft. Immediately, Washington offered the second pick, 36, 40, 67, and next year's first. And that I think is a little wild. And then New England, that's what I'm saying. If I got offered that, I'd jump on that. I wouldn't even think about it. But then New England also offered a swap with 3 because I think we got to – hopefully we do trade, right? And we got to stay in top 3 so we can still get Marvin Harrison but get capital back. New England in this same one, it gave me 6 trade offers that were generated on the AI, whatever. But New England offered 3, 34, 68, and then a first and second next year. I kind of like that move better because I still get Marvin Harrison. I still get a couple extra picks for this year and a very early second-round pick, and then I get a first and a second for next year, and I think I like that.
The reason why they go wild on that website is because they don't have 2025 accounted for, so they give you a lot more this year, so that it counts for that 2025.
This one offered first and second round for next year for 25.
Sorry, I meant 2026. I'm sorry, 2026.
Can you trade 2026 picks? You can go 3 years now, right?
Not in this. Yeah, well, yeah, you can go farther out. Yeah.
No, I don't think you can go farther out than 3 years. I think 3 years is the max. So you can do this year, next year, and the following.
Yeah, it's the next 3. It's the 3 drafts that are currently going on in the next 2. So essentially,
I'm going to accept with New England. I like that.
And Alan,
and you know who they took? Alan, you know who New England took first?
I don't want to hear it. Don't
Drake
say Drake
May.
Shut the
first overall.
Oh my God. Okay.
But no, great episode, boys. I had fun with this. Mock drafts are fun. I love doing these. I actually listened back the other day, the 2023 1.0. We only do one. We only do one 1.0. When we do this shit, it's usually this is like a round table, so it's not official. Like our own mock drafts are playing off each other. But I mean, it was a fun episode. Listening to what we predicted last year, some of the shit we said about these guys, and how bad we were with some of them, and how good we actually were. So,
yeah,
I love the draft time. I love the draft season. It's a fun time. It really is.
Yes, sir.
But this ran a little longer than we thought. So we kind of talked about Mike Evans. Let's talk. Jason Kelce retired. Philly's gonna be a shit show. That's all I really got to say about it. They lost their anchor. They lost their leader, their vocal leader in the locker room as well.
He did a lot for that offensive, for the offense in general. He did a lot of play calling too. Jalen Hurts really didn't have a lot of responsibility pre-snap.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna miss Jason Kelce too. Just his personality. The guy he was great to watch. He's a Hall of Famer in my opinion. I don't know if he'll make first ballot. It's hard for offensive linemen, especially center, to be first ballot. I think he'll make it one day. But no, it was fun watching him. Yeah, obviously, it was emotional for him and his family, rightfully so. I mean, he spent 13 years in one city, very loyal. That's probably why he retired, because he didn't want to go play somewhere else. His wife probably didn't want to root for him on somewhere else neither.
Listen, man, I think he's gonna become more famous in his retirement than he was in his NFL career.
Oh, podcast is already taken off.
Podcast is going crazy, but we're gonna see him on the sidelines. He's already the beloved of the offseason during the playoffs. He's the beloved of the playoffs. He's partying up there and a real human being in that box with Kelsey's girlfriend, whatever her name is.
His future sister-in-law, by the way. Get that right. That's his sister-in-law coming up.
All right. Yeah, you seen the picture that I sent the other day, all right? Yeah, we seen what Travis Kelce was working with before. You think he's happy today?
I think he is. He's got a billionaire next to him.
Okay. But man, yeah, I think Jason Kelce, he's gonna become more famous, and he's gonna become more well known in his post career than in his during his career, and that's kind of hard to say because he was such a great center, and the things that he actually did for that team, I don't think that I've ever heard of a center making pre-snap adjustments for an entire offense the way that he did. And that's a skill that I don't think you can match when it comes to other centers. So,
no, man's a dog, and he'll be missed. I mean, I'm not a big Philly sports guy, but definitely liked watching him play. There's some guys you respect, some guys you love to see, even if it's on the team you don't really care for, and he was one of them. So now there's only one Kelce left, and then see how long Travis lasts. I'm still saying 2 or 3 more years, but I know Luke was high on him retiring very shortly. But great episode, boys. Chris had to step out. His internet was all shit. So,
hey, can I just say I'm tired of these grown ass men crying when they retire. All right, stop, suck it up, save that shit for your family. Don't nobody want to see it on the podium. Be a man and don't cry on your way out of here.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, come on.
Play what, Doc?
Played 10 years.
He played more than 10. He played 13.
I'm just saying in general, like you didn't do 40 years at a company. You know what I mean?
Right?
You played a game.
Yeah,
you played a game.
But I mean, yeah, I think it's a little more than just a game. I mean, especially
you got paid millions of dollars to do this thing. You have a really good life. No, I mean, stop crying for 13 years. All right, come on, man. You know what? Save that shit for your family. Give some damn decency and some dignity for yourself. I mean, even the snot-nosed crying this man was doing, I don't want to see that.
I mean, I think it's great because that shows how he's not crying because he's just retiring. He's also crying because this is a city that he's from Ohio, wherever Gridiron or wherever he's from, Cleveland Heights, wherever he's from. That's his hometown. But Philly is his home. You know, he embodied the Philadelphia culture. He embodied them, got them their first Super Bowl. Forget that. He was part of that first Super Bowl win. So he was the heart and soul of the Philadelphia Eagles for the better part of the last decade. I get it. But
this man ain't Rocky Balboa. All right? He ain't Rocky Balboa. Just stop crying.
Well, guess what? Philadelphia was bleeding for a championship for the Eagles, and he was one of the reasons why they won the Super Bowl.
Nick Foles was the reason. Nick Foles was the reason.
You just you just gave Kelce all that credit. No, it was also Jason Kelce. I get it. They didn't get they win the second one, but the man's a beast. I mean, it's emotional. I mean, Peyton Manning fucking did it. Tom Brady did it. I mean, it's just the way he goes. Brett Favre did it. He also retired 3 times. So, but not everyone gets 2 retirements to make it right. Okay, not everyone gets 2 like Tom that he can do it right the second time. Okay, so. Sorry, Jason. He has a one-time experience out here. He doesn't understand how to do it. Next time he retires, if he gets a chance, he won't cry probably.
Yeah.
But it's emotional. I mean, that's something that they've done he's spent his whole life playing football, and he's no longer going to do it anymore. It's like a lot of people do it in the military too. You know, you spend 15, 20 years in the military, you get out, you might get a little emotional.
I think that's a little different. You know, you spend 20 years.
Well, yeah, I mean,
serving your country, doing something that is beneficial for the people in the entire country, you know, defending across the world, and you're asked to sacrifice so much over that same time frame. I mean, and you could cry when you're in the military. You literally miss birthdays and you miss fucking parties. You miss fucking tea parties with your fucking daughter, bro. Like,
you do that in the NFL. You do too as well. It's not to the degree, but you do miss it. And by the way, both of us have a choice of doing what we're doing. I have a choice to join the military.
I agree. I agree that you make the choice, but it's not the same thing. That man goes home to his family after the game.
Yes, you're right. They do go home to them. I get that. But it's still emotional. I'm not saying he changed the whole city or the whole country, but he did make this. So these athletes do make the city a lot better. They make them money.
There's a lot of different things that they do. I will agree to that. And a lot of these athletes that spend more time in these cities develop community avenues to try to better the community, right? They have their foundations and they do things within the community. I get all of that, but those are all things that are incumbent of somebody who is being paid that money to do that thing for that sport. To cry, I'm just saying, I'm tired of these grown ass men snot nose crying when they retire, bro. Save it for your family.
They don't give them a press conference. That's if you're gonna do that, that's
fine too. Do that shit on your podcast, bro.
But then you're gonna criticize him doing it on the podcast for the whole world to see. It's the same thing.
Do it on the podcast, bro.
He spent his whole life playing football. This is something that he grew up doing. He embodied the sport. This is what his love is. This is his first true love. Not his wife, Kylie. His first love is football. He's giving that up. That's emotional. He's 30-something years old. He spent the better part of 25, close 30 years playing this game. That's emotional.
At what point does it become, oh, he didn't cry, he didn't care about the game? Because he didn't cry during his retirement.
I don't think people are.
Come on, guys.
Not everyone's going to
fucking go.
Not everyone's going to cry. That's not everyone's as emotional. Peyton Manning cried, and he gave one of the best retirement speeches of all time.
Who else cried? Like every damn person that
Brady fucking cried when they asked him who his goddamn hero was during the Super Bowl. Brady cried like a little pussy when they said, "Who's your hero?" My dad. My dad's my fucking hero. I make out with him. That's that's what he does. He cried about speaking about his dad.
What does that have to do with the retirement? Are we talking about retirement? Or are we talking about Brady?
He got 2 retirements, by the way, because he's that egotistical.
I don't even care. Yeah. He cried like a little baby on that one too.
You didn't give him shit when he did it. You didn't give him shit when he.
I said I'm tired of these grown ass men crying when they walk away from the game. Save that shit for your family. That is a different thing. If he wants to cry after winning the Super Bowl, great. Cry when you win the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate pinnacle.
Brady didn't have a family to go home to, so he had to do it in front of the media. He was getting divorced. That's
facts.
So he had to do it. He had to do it in front of them.
Shoot your shots, bro. Shoot your shots.
I mean, I'm not mad at them that they cry. Like, I mean, it's they're emotional. It's something they did their whole life. I mean, something they did their whole. Don't watch it. It's not hard.
I'm just tired of these guys crying, bro. Like, save that shit for your family.
But the city of Philadelphia is his family.
Okay.
I mean,
he's not eating Thanksgiving dinner with them. All right, he's not going home to them. All right.
But he changed the way. But he helped change the culture in Philadelphia for the better part of 13 years. Became a winning culture with him.
Do you think that Philadelphia is a safer city because Jason Kelce was there? Fucking Jason Kelce's Batman, though?
No big city's safe. Doesn't matter what big city. Every big city. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about he brought the city together during the season, like from September to February, most time January for them.
Those guys are still beating people up in hallways. Those fucking fans are still killing people. They're fucking nuts out there.
I think they have every right to cry. I mean, it's emotional game to them. It's emotional. It's passion. I mean, he loved the game, and
you're right.
Respected his time.
You know what? It's 2020.
If you don't cry, you don't cry. I'm not. That's like not everyone cries when they get married. Not everyone cries when they have a kid. I mean, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. I'm not saying that doesn't make you not as passionate about that thing, but that. He loved it. I mean, he's an emotional guy. Some guys are a little more emotional deep down. It's just the way.
You're right.
I mean,
You're right, bro. It's 2024 in America. All right. Get in touch with your sensitive sides.
I mean,
didn't Ray
Lewis cry every national anthem?
Probably.
That's patriotism. That's different. That's different.
That's different. That's different.
Patriotism.
Right? That was in between him shooting somebody. Okay, all right, leave me alone.
But great show, boys. Went a little longer than we thought. Tomorrow night, It's official. We're starting our basketball talk.
Let's fucking go.
Basketball Association. Let's go.
Yeah, we're talking about grown men and their feelings. Let's talk about 2024.
Oh yeah.
NBA, the softest league probably out of all professional sports in America. They are out of the four. They're probably the softest.
Tooties.
Hey, even the referees are softer. They gave a guy a tech for not responding to him on the bench.
I saw that.
That's the most bullshit tech I think I've ever seen in my life.
That said, you want to?
You want to? Hey,
Caitlin might be harder than 90% of the league. All right, Caitlin Clark might be harder than 90% of the league.
Murray said, "Damn, dude, I fucking kept my emotions in check. I didn't fucking lash out at you. I walked away. I sat down, and I didn't speak to you. Nothing had to be said. And I get a tech for that.
Unbelievable.
He might as well fucking told him to go fuck yourself. If you're gonna get a tech, you might as well do it.
I'm earning it. Yeah, you want to like we gonna earn it now.
It was Tony Brothers, fucking.
Bring Donahue back. Bring Donahue back. You know what I'm saying? Donahue let the boys play.
All right, let's
Donahue let the boys play.
Is Doc gonna do basketball?
He'll probably come on from time to time.
Bring Donahue back, bro.
Hey, I better not
Donahue
hear
was a
Michael
dog.
Jordan Bulls reference, okay?
You have that with Jake and Doc will join us from time to time. Don't get twisted.
Let's go.
But great episode, boys. Shout out to you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Alan, great to have you here. Doc, as always, great to have all of us on here. 2 more episodes this week following this, so just pay attention, be ready. I'm Mark Davis. This is All About the Balls podcast, and we are out. Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram @the Sack House.